and harmonizing with nature. With over 4 decades of changing lives, your self-discovery archaeologist, get ready to be the best of you with your host, Beverly Zymet.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Beverly Zymet Show, where being the best you has just gotten easier. My guest today is calling in from the Netherlands and her name is, oh boy, Lupna. Okay, and I'll let you tackle that last name. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Beverly.
So what is it that you do over there in the Netherlands? We were talking a little bit earlier and it sounded very intriguing.
Oh, yes. Well, what I do, I'm an entrepreneur and I mentor other entrepreneurs to increase, to double their productivity and revenue whilst having fun and using my proprietary process called the action equation.
Wow, the action equation. You guys heard it right here on the Beverly Zymet Show. The action equation to increase your business. So what exactly is that? Is this your invention? Is this something you've studied?
No, it's my invention. I created the system because one of the things that I discovered being the best me is one of my gifts, and that is actually helping people to come up with their goals, strategies, and day-to-day tactics to achieve those goals and to create whatever they want in their business or life. And one of the things that, to make it memorable, I thought, well, if action is the thing that I do to get people to actually take action on, I would love to have a proprietary system that uses that acronym. And I just brainstormed what I actually do and discovered what's that natural gift that I show up in the world on if I use all of those letters. And before I knew it, I had each and every one of those letters combined to a concept. And I thought, oh my God, it actually works. I can use the word as an acronym.
I love it.
And it says what it does on the tin.
That's great. So share with us what your acronym is, because that sounds very interesting. Because again, action. If one doesn't take action, nothing happens. All the knowledge in the world does not mean anything if you don't put it into action, right?
Absolutely, and not even more. What I see a lot of entrepreneurs specifically do is only take action. So I've got clients who don't take action, who have absolutely no idea what they want to take action on. But I also have clients who say, I am so busy, I spend all day doing, but I'm not getting the results that I need. So, and both of those situations can be very real and very frustrating.
Right.
So what I love to help people do is actually find out what are the right actions at the right time. And if you're just doing, is to extract those actions that are not actually contributing to your goals.
That's kind of like being busy, right?
Exactly. And busy is not productivity or effectiveness. And we can be very busy doing a lot of things, but not getting anywhere.
Right. You know, and that's a key element you just struck there. You know, being busy is not being productive. And I think we kind of think about that as well. If we're busy, we must be doing something that's productive, right? Not necessarily.
No, and even more so, I don't know about you in the States, but here in the Netherlands, for example, if you ask someone, how are you? 99% of the time, the answer that I get is, I am busy. Like it's something that shows people that they're actually doing something, and that busy is the most important thing. And I have to remind myself each and every time to think, but I didn't ask what you're doing or how busy you are. I asked, how are you? You're answering me busy. That just shows me that you have absolutely no idea what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, but you're doing so much that you're just running yourself towards burnout. And I'm just very mindful that I do not want people in a burnout. I'd rather have them in a situation where they're achieving their goals and living the life that they want to live.
Right. That's so true, so true. And, I'm glad that you said that because I've heard that a lot myself. Hey, what's going on in your life? Oh my gosh, I am so busy, right? And it's like, okay, busy doing what, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. One
I
of the things
am
that
guilty
is
of that
important for
myself.
me, exactly, and I want to bust the myth that hard work equals success.
Right.
Because I don't know about you, but I was brought up. One of the very first things that my father said to me is, just work hard and you will have the success that you desire. And even more so, being a minority in a different country than where I was born. He even told me, work 200% because you're different. And that's exactly what I did for a very long time. And it got me success, to be fair. It got
Right.
me to certain, until I saw that the same type of hard work ethic um, had one of my dear friends in a burnout, and she was not able to do anything for 9 months. And it was for me, it was like jumping into the future and getting a view of what I would be probably end up with if I were to go keep doing what I was doing. And I thought, I never want to be in that situation whatsoever. I love what I do, and the idea of not being able to do that on a day-to-day basis scared me so much that I thought there has to be another way. It has to not be true that hard work equals success. And that's how my journey started, into discovering other ways of doing the exact same thing but getting the results without the hard work element.
That's
in terms of
amazing.
just being busy, busy, busy.
Right, right. And when I caught myself saying that, oh my gosh, I'm so busy, but it's like I'm not going anywhere. It's like I'm spinning my wheels. What's going on? Something has to change here. What am I doing that's not getting me to the outcome that I want? Because
Yeah.
I work my butt off, And I'm sure there's people out there that are listening. If that sounds like you, like you're just working, 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 but you're not getting anywhere, what do we do? So Lupa here, she has the answer, right? That's going to show us what it is that we can do to not just be busy, being busy, but actually being productive. And when
Yep.
you're productive, it's like you end up having more time to spend on other things, fun things, rather than trying to catch up. Because I think it's just not knowing or understanding, because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yes.
And then
Absolutely.
it goes into, once you know what you didn't know, what are you going to do with that information, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it absolutely is. And what I found is a lot of people are trying to live up to other people's or society's expectations.
Oh,
And I think
gosh.
that's one of the very first thing that I needed to bust, because work hard and give it 200% was actually because of other people. It wasn't because I believed in it or I wanted to do it. It was because of what other people might think or think about me.
Right.
And one of the
Right.
very first things that I worked on is, well, what do I want? What's my definition of success? How do I want my life to be? And working from the inside out. And that's the very first thing that I changed, from working from the outside in, basically following everyone and everything,
Right.
to what do I want and how do I want to show up in the world? And doing that instead of trying to adhere to a norm about success that might not be mine.
And that is so true. That, thank you for mentioning that, because I think a lot of people, and especially entrepreneurs, because it's like you want to fit in, you want to prove something to someone, you want that recognition, right? And so you begin to do things. We live our life how we think other people want us to, and we forget about the most important person, and that's the self, right? And my identity was gone. I had lost total identity. That's what started me on my journey, and that's what has taken me into the field that I am in as an identity revelation specialist, let's reveal your true identity, not the identity that you think others want you to be, which then kind of goes down the same track of what you're saying, is to come from the inside out first, take care of yourself first, and then you can be an expression to the outside world. And I also incorporated this saying, and I say it a lot and share it with friends, with family, with clients, is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what other people think of you. It matters what you think of you. And when you can really begin to incorporate that into your life, now you're living and building for yourself to make a difference and an impact on the world out there.
Yeah.
Instead of, like you say, getting busy, doing for everybody else, and you forget the most important person, right? And that sounds like that's what happened with your friend when she got into overwhelm and overload, and boom, the world just collapsed. And that is so true in a lot of instances. We see that. So if you guys out there can relate to what we were just talking about here, have you ever found yourself in burnout or headed towards that burnout, having a mental breakdown or an emotional breakdown, or just being totally exhausted? What is it that you're doing for everyone else that you're not doing for yourself? That is a very, very important point here to make. And when you can recognize that and then begin shifting, it makes a huge difference, right?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I love the theme of your show, how to be the best you. But you can only be the best you if you know who the you is.
Exactly.
And we've been brought up in environments where parents, teachers who have conditioned us to be a you that might not be our authentic self anywhere, in any way, shape or form.
Right.
Because they've got a frame of reference, a mental map of the world based on their experiences and their past that might not be your mental map of the world. And I think that that's one of the very first things that I've invested in, is to find out who am I without that conditioning, because it's brought me to this point, but is it really me? Is it in alignment with what matters to me? And when you know the you, then you can start discovering, and what's the best me?
Right.
How can I show
so
up
true.
as the best version of me in any situation, no matter what happens, and still be in alignment? Because I truly believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that if each and every one of us human beings in the world were to really step into our authentic selves, the world would be in a better place.
Oh my gosh, that's just giving me chills all over. And it's so true, because you have that inner peace when you can really start to identify your authentic self. Now you become real, and that changes everything. It's one of the biggest game changers you'll ever experience, because again, it goes back to that. It doesn't matter what everybody out here is thinking. It's what you're thinking in here. And the craziest thing about it, you're thinking everyone out here is pointing the finger at you, when in essence they're thinking that everybody's pointing the finger at them. So it's all backwards and crazy and messed up, right? When you get that, that is like the biggest joke ever. You can have the laugh of a lifetime and then say, yeah, you know what? It's crazy. They are. I guess I better just start taking a look at who I am, what I am, where I am, what I want to go. And sometimes it's not easy to find that. But if you know what you don't want, if you know who you are not, and you start moving that stuff away. So I work as a self-discovery archaeologist, right? So it gives you that little important name, okay? You become your own self-discovery archaeologist, and you start moving those things away little by little. Or if you really want to make it, you throw in a stick of dynamite, boom, right? And then you really move the pieces out of the way. So you can go as fast or as slow as you want, right? Yep. As long as you're going. Again, we talked about that. All information, all knowledge isn't worth anything unless you put it into action. So this action thing that we're talking about, let's get into what does each one of those letters mean? What is that? You got me so curious. And I'm sure you guys out there too.
Building up curiosity.
Well, you did it. Okay, spill it. Time to spill it.
Yeah, I'm spilling it. So the A is for attitude.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all about your mindset and the quality of your mindset in this very moment. So we've already talked about, if you have a belief that hard work equals success, the only thing you're going to be doing is hard work. And
Right.
I'm not saying that hard work is bad. Believe me, there are moments in my life right now that I work really hard, but it's not the heavy hard work. It's because I want to, because I believe in what I'm doing. So attitude is very important. So we really look into your mindset. What do you believe, and is it in support of what you need? And we work towards developing a growth mindset.
That's amazing. That's great. And that is so true, because your attitude is what makes you who you are. That's who you respond with, is your attitude, and it displays, right? In your physiology, in your actions, and everything. So how many times has someone said to you, well, you've got an attitude today, right?
Oh, I get it all the time. I even get to, but you seem very confident in what you believe in, and I was like, yes, because I've done
Because
the work.
I am, right? Yes.
I've done the work, and you will either resonate with me because you admire it and you wanna model me, or you are repelled by it, which is fine. I mean, I do not have the illusion that with 8 billion people in the world, that all 8 billion will ever like me.
You know, I love that, because I say that too with people. It's like, that fear of not being accepted, not being liked, not being a part of, right? It's like, there's billions of people on the planet. I promise you, I guarantee you, I stake my life on it. There is somebody out there that's going to like you for exactly who and what it is that you are. That's a guarantee. So don't get all upset. Don't take it personal. If that person over there that you've known for the last 20 years isn't liking you, maybe that's because you're reflecting something from them that you don't like about yourself. Ooh, and that don't taste very good sometimes, right?
Yeah, no, but we are, I mean, as soon as you make this decision, and I'm going to jump to the second letter, the C, is to commit to you. That's the C in the action equation. Commit to yourself and commit to what you are here to do. You will find, I can guarantee you that, especially people that have been with you for the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years,
Right.
they will respond to that. They will react to that, because you're starting to change, and because you're changing, you're also a mirror to them.
Right.
And if they're not really ready to commit to themselves to start this journey, they will try to stop you. Or my family member, whatever it is. I don't want you to change, because if you're changing,
that means I have to change, and I don't want to change, right?
yeah, and I want to keep connecting with you, and now I have to change, but I'm not ready to change. You will lose people.
Yes.
On this journey. I've lost people. I've no contact with some people because it was just too much for them. Mm-hmm. I've gained a lot of new people in my tribe and my community also. So if you're afraid of losing people, I can guarantee you will. It all starts, to me, with that C of commitment. Are you committed to you? Do you want to show up as the best version of you, so you can come at it from a place of abundance and give whatever you can without tiring yourself out?
Commitment is very, very important, and I think that scares a lot of people to make that commitment, because when you make a statement and you say, I am, which is the two most powerful words in the dictionary, right? I am committed to me. Whoa. Stand in the mirror, for everyone of the audience out here that's listening, right? Stand in that mirror. You can stand in that mirror and say you love yourself, which is great, but stand in that mirror and say, I am committed to me. And see how that feels. See if you can get those words out. Do you struggle with getting that out? What's the tone of the voice that you use? Because committing to yourself is huge, right? And if you commit to other things, if you commit to different businesses, you commit to different events, different things that you're doing in your life, you're never going to be fully committed 100% with anything else unless you are committed within the boundaries of who you are 100%, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it starts there. Before you can commit to anything else, whether it's a project, a strategy, or a goal, you have to be committed to you. And from there starts, okay, if commitment to myself, yes, fully, confidently, without a shadow of a doubt, and it might take you a while. Give yourself that time. Be compassionate.
Yes.
About yourself, because this is a journey. If you're watching this now and thinking, oh, but I am committed, notice how that feels. Can you really confidently say, I am truly ready to be absolutely committed to me and to show up as me each and every day consistently, no matter what?
Right.
Then you've got it. If there's still some doubt, and it might be, believe me, 99% of the people that come to me are still in doubt. When
Right.
they do, but then we work on it, and we take the step to the third letter. Which is the T of transformation.
Okay, so we've got attitude, commitment, and transformation. Whoa, this is powerful. This is
Yes.
powerful. Okay.
So I make a distinction between change and transformation. With change, you can go back. Transformation means you've really up-leveled. You can't go back.
You jump
There's
to
a
the
new
other
you.
mountain, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a new you. You're doing new things. You can't go back. And transformation requires deliberate practice.
Ooh, say that again.
Transformation requires deliberate practice.
Wow, did you hear what she just said? Deliberate practice. So what does that mean? Again, we go back to that letter before, committed practice, right? So you are deliberately taking those action steps continuously and consistently to make sure that the transformation happens, not just the change. It's not just a shift here. It's a complete transformation. And I really like what you said, that the difference between change and transformation is change, you can always slip back, where transformation, there's no going back, right? I never really looked at it from that perspective, but that is so key right there. I love that. I'm going to steal that.
You're more than happy to take everything that I say. The more the merrier is what I believe in. So, really, that's what we work in the transformational segment of the action equation, is that we get you to take little actions each and every day consistently, so you can really create the new habits, because that's where I want you to end up in. That it's automatic. You don't have to think about it in any way, shape, or form. That it just shows up for you consistently every day, and you'll see the new results happening after a period of time, and before you know it, that's your new normal.
Yeah, and that is so true. That is so true. And it's moving out what no longer serves purpose, to make space to bring in the things that are your new truth, the things that do serve purpose. You have a database, and we all have databases. This little brain up here and the cells in your body are your database of information, right? Yep. And you can only have what's in there from what you've learned, from what you've gone through, what your experiences have been. Plus it comes through your genetics as well. So you've got things passed down from, your past genealogy, and it's going to impact you unconsciously. And I like what you said, to become automatic with that, right? And when we can recognize, and we have to pay attention to recognize certain things, right? Because habits just go on, and you don't think about them. It's like breathing. You don't think about every breath that you take. You don't think every time your eyes blink, right? You don't think every time your head turns or your hand moves, right? So that is an automatic pilot. Your thoughts are on automatic pilot. Your actions and reactions, especially, are on automatic pilot. And so you need to recognize those things that you want to change, that you want to transform. And so when you can take that database of old, distorted, outdated, false truths, move them out of the way, so that you have the space to put in the new database of information, your new belief, that's when real transformation happens. Because now it is in the cell, it's on autopilot, and you don't have to think about it anymore, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and for me, as a former ITer, I spent almost 15 years working as an ITer, so I know the concept of databases, is that if a database is not cleaned, the internal integrity just gets compromised. And
right.
If you know, and we know from neuroscience, that a human being has on average anywhere between 60 to 90,000 thoughts per day.
Right.
Now let that one sink in.
That's a lot of thoughts.
See, between 60,000 to 90,000 thoughts per day.
Right.
Okay. Most 80% of those thoughts are fully on automatic pilot.
Yes. And it's
fully
so
automatic
true.
pilot. You're not aware of it in any way, shape, or form. That's the database running. But the third element that I'm going to share about this is even more mind-boggling. 85% of those thoughts are the same as you had yesterday.
And the day before, and the day before, and the week before, and the year before, right?
And are negatively charged.
Yes.
They're negative thoughts.
Yes.
So
I like what you said, negatively charged, because a lot of people think that negative means, it's a bad thing, and positive means it's a good thing. It doesn't. It's the charge. And when you understand what that charge is and that vibrational activity, then you can pull the plug on it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And now for the good news, we also know that the brain has neuroplasticity, so we can recreate a neural pathways. I'm getting a little bit scientific.
Now I talk about those neural pathways, because, and I think it's starting to become more of a household word, the neural pathways of the brain, right?
Yeah. So in essence, the brain is like Google. It keeps on learning, creating new pathways. So even though we're working against evolution because of the negativity bias and in the automatic pilot, we do have influence on what we learn, and we can create new thoughts, and we can create new neural pathways, and we can create new habits.
Right.
So, and that's why transformation is so important to me. Because that is what we could benefit from, what we know from the neuroscience. Okay, are you ready for letter number 4?
Yes. What is the I?
Okay, the I in action, the action equation, is inspiration.
Oh,
One of the
nice.
things that has benefited me from the very first start is I've always followed my inspiration, no matter where it took me. That's how I ended up in IT.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up with personal development space. That's how I ended up becoming an entrepreneur. And I literally just a couple of weeks ago celebrated the fact that it was 10 years ago that I went into a chamber of commerce and got my business registered, which at that time freaks me out. And I could not have imagined that 10 years later I would be celebrating that milestone.
Right.
So
well, congratulations, because that is a milestone.
It is, yeah. So inspiration is literally the fuel behind you and your business.
Say that again. Inspiration
is the fuel behind you and your business.
Wow. Did you guys hear what she said? Now that's powerful. That is so powerful. And the words that you have put together on action, right? And we're on what, number 4? Number 4, right? So we look at attitude, which is really important. And then we look at commitment, which is definitely a key, and transformation. And now we have inspiration, and who is inspiring for you? When you look at your mentors, coaches, people that have come before you, who inspires you to get up every day, to be that best you? What is that inspiration? What's that little spark? Right?
Yeah,
that is
most
powerful.
But also, not only looking at other people, what's your passions? What are you passionate about? What is something that you can spend hours and hours on just because it makes you happy?
Right.
It gives you joy. What is that? And I'm I'm known as the crazy idea lady.
Well, that's okay. We'll let you be the crazy idea lady.
And I'm very proud of that title. I can come up with things that other people will say, are you kidding? But that's a crazy idea. And believe me, every time someone says that's a crazy idea, I get fueled. I'm like, okay, there's something in there. Right. I want to explore that idea further, because if someone else is saying it's crazy, there's something there. And that's how, for example, and if my friend Gail was here, she will tell you the story, because she has many, many, many times, is I had the crazy idea last year to start a community on Facebook called the Entrepreneurs Sushi Club.
All right.
Because I'm an entrepreneur and I adore sushi. I absolutely adore sushi. And I thought, there are a lot of communities of entrepreneurs, but when they get together, it's also serious. It's all about marketing or business coaching, but it's never something about quirky, something that is you. And I thought, I love sushi. I can talk sushi all day.
Well, sushi's just a little bit fishy, isn't it? Right?
Yes. And I thought, well, what about combining those two?
Yeah.
And my friend Gail said, oh, yeah, great. And I started the community. There is a Facebook group actually called that, but I haven't done anything with it. Until fast forward a couple of months, December last year, and I'm at an event where I'm one of the speakers. And on stage, there is Woon, who is a podcasting expert. And whilst he's talking, I'm thinking, how about the Entrepreneur Sushi Club podcast? And don't ask me, but Gail will tell you before she knew it. When we're talking, I'm launching myself, and she actually uses that word. I'm launching myself to the front of the room, waving to Woon on stage, saying, I want the mic, I want the mic, I want the mic. And as soon as I get the mic, I say, I am launching the Entrepreneur Sushi Club podcast in January 2020. And after I did it, I was like, oh my God, now I've done it. Now I've said it out loud. Now I have to do it. The Gail behind me is thinking, oh my God, she just announced that we're going to do this. Woon gets off stage and says, I'm in. I'm in. When are we going to launch this podcast? We're up 14 episodes today. 14
Awesome.
episodes of that podcast are live. So I always say, be careful when I'm in the room. I might get a crazy idea.
Yeah, you sound like me sometimes. Right? I wanted to put this show together. Same thing. I wanted to put this show together. I wanted to have a different professional style look, and whatever. And so my friend says, okay, we can do this. I can help you get the automation and all that. Said, great, because he's the tech guy, right? All right, you automate it, because I ain't got no problem doing the other parts of it, right? And so he says, well, this was like on a Friday. He says, well, when do you want to launch it? I said, Wednesday. So from Friday to Wednesday, well, guess what? We launched on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm all about inspiration. What is your passion? What are you passionate about?
Yeah.
And combine passions. I mean, I love being an entrepreneur and I love sushi, and I just combined those two. So even if you think we can't combine those two, believe me, you can.
And it's catchy, and that's kind of what people are looking for. Something that's different, that makes you stand out from the crowd, right? And that's what you're all about, Hey, this is me. This is all of me. If you don't like me, that's okay. Somebody out there else will. And if they don't, you know what? I'm happy. Me, myself, and I are just happy, right? So again, it is being that, and get a catchphrase. As crazy and silly as it sounds, people are not going to forget it. They're going to remember
and to
it.
be fair, you need that very first crazy person to say, let's do this.
Right.
And before you know it, because that's literally what happens when you do something like that, there are people that are silently waiting for someone to speak up, because they're not naturally people that speak up. But as soon as you do, they say, "Oh, I want to be a guest on your podcast," or I want to help you get that out in the world. Oh, I want to help you with that project, or I can contribute this or that. Because in this world, we've got leaders, people that are just charging in front and just going for it and don't care that they're called the crazy idea lady. And we've got people that are waiting for people like that to say, oh, I want to join you. I want to be part of your community because you've got the ideas and I can contribute to the ideas. I mean, I could not have imagined that it would actually turn into a podcast. That I would have the most amazing guests, because believe it or not, as soon as we said this is what we're doing, we have several people saying, I want to be there because I adore sushi too. I am one of those people. I'm like, oh my God, there are a lot of people that I didn't know about who were in my orbit already. Right. But because no one opened up the conversation, they didn't feel compelled to share it.
Right.
So don't think it's crazy. It usually isn't. You'll
speak that voice, right? That's the whole thing here. Speak that voice and don't be afraid to say it. And I think that's one of the things a lot of people do is they buffer what they say, right? They think they gotta kind of cushion it or whatever, because if you just blurt it out, people are gonna go, and then they're going to maybe start making fun of you or question you or think you're weird or think you're whatever, And again, when you don't say it the way you mean it, the way it needs to be spoken, that's when everything gets messed up, because everyone's assuming something different. So make sure when you do speak, that's exactly the meaning you want to get across, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
So we've got 4 out of 6 letters. So we had attitude, we had commitment, we had transformation, we had inspiration. So after all of this, there's one thing that I can guarantee you will
Can I guess it?
Yes.
Opportunity.
No.
Ah! Okay.
No. There's one thing that is absolutely important, because you will be hit by it, so you need to be prepared, and that is challenges and obstacles. So the O of the action equation is about overcoming challenges.
Okay.
So what we're doing there in that concept is you can learn and train to become resilient.
Well, look what we've had to do here in the last few months, right? Is really learn what resilience is all about very fast. We didn't have a choice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And even though we didn't have a choice, there are a lot of people that believe that resiliency is a fixed trait, that you've got some level of it and not more than that, and you can't train it, which is simply not true.
I would have to agree with you on that.
It is a learnable trait. You can enhance the level of resilience that you have. You can train it each and every day and become more resilient than you are today. And when you are resilient, in that state, you will see opportunities and possibilities more.
That's so true, yes.
Why I called the O, not opportunity, because I'm all about opportunity, but overcoming challenges, because I believe when I get you to that state, you will see the opportunities and possibilities even more. But if I don't help you to deal with the fact that you will encounter obstacles and challenges, no matter all of the other steps, it will stop you in your tracks.
And again, we go back, like what you said, we go back into that recognizing there are obstacles, because they're going to be, no matter how smooth that highway is, hit a pothole once in a while, right? So, so be prepared. Don't think about them all the time. Don't focus on them, but just know that they may show up. And then what are you going to do again with that resilience? What are you going to do about it? You have a pothole.
Yep.
Well, what do? You don't just blow up the rest of the road. You don't jump over the cliff. What you do is you repair and then you move on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So after all of this, so after attitude plus commitment plus transformation plus inspiration plus overcoming challenges equals net worth. That's the
Oh,
end
wow.
out
That
of
is
the
so
action
awesome.
equation.
Net worth. Whoa, there you go. That's beautiful. That is an awesome analogy. I love it. I love it. So,
Yeah, so
and,
that's the action equation.
and it's actually rewarding. Like you said, all these things that you just went through, it does equal that. So the payoff, the outcome is worth it. And that net worth doesn't just mean money, right?
No.
It means your integrity, your values, your self-esteem, your trust in yourself, your belief in yourself. There's just so many prizes at the end when you discover what that net worth is by going through all of those things. And I like the way you brought it out first. It's like, well, check your attitude, right? Check that attitude. It's like checking the oil in your car. Check that attitude, right? And then be committed. Really be committed to what it is that you're looking to do, what it is that you're looking to accomplish. Where in life do you want to go? What is that passion? What are your assets that you want to be an expression of? And commit to those, right? Commit to the self, right? And then that transformation. Now you're doing more than changing. You are completely removing yourself from what was and into something that you've desired, right? And then inspiration. Make the world your inspiration. Look at others. How did they overcome going into the obstacles, which comes after inspiration, right? Because those inspiring people all came through the obstacles. So you actually built them up, and said, okay, now that you've got this power and you've got this strength, you can overcome anything, right? Because you overcame the most difficult thing in life, and that was yourself. That was the lie you've been telling yourself, right? So give yourselves a big round of applause, because that is a key element to overcome that. And there you are, your net worth, which is now your greatest personality trait. It becomes your autopilot of who you are. Now you're getting into the inner working of, this is who I am. This is my identity. This is my identity. That was so beautiful. Just so beautiful in how you brought those words together in that action. Again, it's an action step. And what actions are you going to take? Wow, you just described, 5 actions to get to that outcome. 5 major actions. And you know what? We do them every single day without thought. Imagine the power when you start to put thought to those action steps that were just shared here. How will that change your life? How will that help you become that better you every single day, every step of the way? Comment below. We'd like to hear that.
Oh, yes, please.
Yes. Oh, so if people would like to get a hold of you or start interacting, get in that sushi club, what do they have to do to find you?
Well, the fastest way to find me is to connect with me on social media. So I've got a business page on Facebook that has my own name. So that's easy. You can find me. And I think that the best way, because my name can be a challenge for some people, is that we add it to the comments or description with this show. episode. So
Right.
find me on Facebook. I am on all the social media. So whether your playground is LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you can find me on all of these. Just connect with me on one of those, and I'm more than willing to answer any questions.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I hope you guys are really listening out there and wrote down all the little steps in action so that you can take action and have all of those things really begin to make a difference in your life. Thank you so much, so much. And it's been an inspiration having you here on the show. And I can't thank you enough for coming in. And you talked about losing people, and then you talked about gaining people. This show, in the short few months that has been on, I have met some of the most fabulous people. Some of them I'm actually collaborating with, and we're putting some programs together. And you meet some of the most awesome people when you can start to begin to be in that expression of who you are. Respect and honor who you are. And you're just going to attract to you people that you didn't even know were out there in the world. Don't be afraid to have your voice. Don't be afraid to speak up, right?
No, ever.
Just
because
do it.
we don't, because we're afraid to lose people. Just bear in mind that with every person you will lose, you will gain another person.
Or more.
Or even more. I mean, I've
Right.
had the pleasure of meeting some of the most amazing people that hold me to a higher standard that I hold myself, and I've been able to achieve things that I thought I would never
Right.
ever achieve in my life, just because I surround myself with people that hold me to a higher standard. So don't be afraid of losing people. They will either come back when they're ready to go through their own journey,
Right.
and you will gain loads more.
Right. And there's that saying out there, well, it's not even saying, but it's a truthful fact, when you look at your 5 closest people that are around you, that's a reflection of who you are.
Yeah.
If you don't like all of that, there's pieces of it you like, maybe it's time to change that circle of acquaintances, right? And that's what it is. And broaden that circle of acquaintances and be that magnet to bring to you what your outcome is. What is that net worth, that net value that you're trying to get to out there? And who's going to help you on that journey? The first person that's going to help you is by being committed to yourself, making that choice to say, I'm ready. Take that action step. Put all those little things that she put together on those action steps, and that will help you get there faster. That was very important what you shared here with the audience. That is of great value. And I'm going to really work on that myself and just kind of how, put those in, because the order is really unique, and it does change and make a difference. And build them up, then say, now get ready for the obstacles to come flying at you. But you know what? You got all this power. They ain't going to hurt you so bad. You know how to duck. Right? So, okay. Well, we are going to call this a show. And I, again, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you're so welcome. We might just have to have you back again, right?
Most definitely. Always welcome to come back.
So go out there, be that best you that you can be, because we are going to be the best we that we can be. Have a great day, and we will see you all on the next show.
Have a happy day.